Did China just destroy peace in the Middle East? China's influence in the Middle East has been growing, and it has been playing a more active role in the region's geopolitics. Here are some key points. Balancing act. China has been striking a careful balance between regional rivals, especially Iran and the Gulf. Its foreign policy of balancing between rivals and increasing multilateralism has enabled China to deepen its ties with the Middle East. Economic relations. China has been expanding economic relations with regional powers and forging comprehensive strategic partnerships with the Arab world. This includes infrastructure building, telecommunications, technology, and energy, all critical domains for China's ambitious Belt and Road Initiative, BRI. Mediation role. China has recently played a significant role in mediating a deal to end 7 years of Saudi-Iranian estrangement. This agreement is noteworthy not only because of its potential positive repercussions in the region, but also because of China's leading role and the United States' absence in the diplomacy that led to it. Welcome to my new Today video. We discuss about, did China just destroy peace in the Middle East? Please help me to grow this channel by subscribing, commenting, showing it to your friends, and giving it a like. Now let's delve into this exciting topic. However, it's important to note that China's role in easing geopolitical tension in the Middle East has been limited, as indicated by the distance its political representatives maintain from major conflicts there. Who are some of China's allies in the Middle East? China has been expanding its influence in the Middle East and has developed relationships with several countries in the region. Here are some of the key relationships. Iran. China has a significant relationship with Iran, especially in terms of energy and trade. Recently, China played a significant role in mediating a deal to end 7 years of Saudi-Iranian estrangement. Saudi Arabia. Despite its close ties with Iran, China has also managed to maintain a strong relationship with Saudi Arabia, primarily in the energy sector. Turkey. Turkey is generally considered an ally of China, especially in terms of China's global investment strategy, the Belt and Road Initiative. On the eve of what was anticipated to be a seismic peace deal between Israel and Saudi Arabia that was mediated by the United States, thousands of Hamas terrorists broke out of Gaza and engaged in a vicious rampage of rape, torture, and murder against Jews in southern Israel. This created a regional crisis that was so severe that conventional wisdom now holds that any form of agreement between Israel and Saudi Arabia is impossible. It is clear that the terrorist group had the help of a nation-state that has a strong military and intelligence capability. This is due to the fact that Hamas does not possess the logistical or material capacity to carry out such a complex operation on its own. The fact that Iran has been providing Hamas with financial support for a long time is well known, and the assault that took place on October 7 reveals how effectively Tehran has trained, armed, and controlled Hamas's actions. An Israel-Saudi agreement that would build on the legacy of the Abraham Accords and consolidate ties between the Jewish state and Iran's top regional opponent is something that the Iranian government has good reason to want to disrupt. This is because Iran's aim to eliminate Israel has been widely established. Iran, on the other hand, may have had a patron of its own that also has a strong interest in destroying the agreement. This patron happened to be the People's Republic of China, which was ultimately in charge of making decisions, in spite of the fact that Saudi Arabia is still the biggest oil producer in the world and hence a vital source for China. The country's imports from Saudi Arabia have lately decreased from their record highs in 2020. China imports around 1.33 million barrels of oil via Saudi Arabia per day. In the event that the peace pact between Israel and Saudi Arabia is effective, it would strengthen Saudi Arabia's security cooperation with the United States, which would provide Washington with more control over the supplies that are flowing out of the Gulf. The recent Chinese breakthroughs in Middle East diplomacy, most notably the Iran-Saudi pact on Yemen, that was mediated in Beijing in March of last year, had the potential to be derailed. This gives China, as well as Iran, a strong interest in undermining such a deal. The People's Republic of China, PRC, has been engaged in a vigorous push to ensure energy security for many decades. And one of its components is to maintain access to Saudi supplies. In addition, the success of this strategy is contingent on maintaining access to low-cost energy from both Russia and Iran. Imports of Iranian oil from China, which are legally still subject to sanctions imposed by the United States, but which the administration of President Joe Biden has ceased enforcing, have begun to gradually increase from around 400,000 barrels per day in 2020 to 600,000 by the end of 2021. Beijing, which is known for its secrecy, took the rare step of publicly announcing these shipments in the year 2022, maybe waiting to see how the government of President Joe Biden would react. It did not, and because of this, imports have increased dramatically in 2023, reaching a 10-year high of 1.5 million barrels per day in the month of August. In the aftermath of President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, China has maintained a hard stance in support of the Kremlin. This supply was never subjected to secondary sanctions from the United States government, which resulted in an increase in the importation of cheap Russian items at a record 2.13 million barrels per day in June of this year. Russia beat Saudi Arabia to become China's largest supplier. This achievement occurred in the month of February. Approximately one-third of the approximately 10 billion barrels per day that China requires may currently be obtained from Iran and Russia, which are both captive sources. What extent is the United States able to protect its citizens in the Gulf region? And further advantage from the Chinese point of view is that the disruptions caused by Russia in Ukraine and Iran in Israel generate tough commitments and hassles for the United States, which makes the much-vaunted pivot to Asia even more difficult to accomplish. President Joe Biden has given Ukraine the assurance that the United States is committed to the conflict, with as much as it takes for as long as it takes. This has resulted in a greater dependency on the United States, taking the lead for the length of the conflict all around Europe. Furthermore, for Israel, the battle with Hamas and Iran will be fought by Israel and the United States of America, or by Israel alone, which might possibly make this the most important step in the process. In addition, if President Biden were to finally sign any variation of the emergency supplemental that he has suggested to deal with these problems, it would add billions more in debt to our already skyrocketing deficits, which would make it far more difficult for the United States to resolve a third war, particularly in Taiwan. The United States of America still has possibilities, provided that it is willing to grasp them. Despite the fact that the growing collaboration of China, Russia, and Iran is a frightening prospect, it is possible that peace will be re-established if the United States maintains its unwavering support for Israel, while also engaging in active outreach to Saudi Arabia. In addition, India, which had previously been completely non-aligned, is now taking a strong stance in support of Israel, and by extension, the United States of America. Given the fact that India is currently surpassing China as the most populous country in the world and as a democracy, if the United States is looking for an alternative to China for both market and manufacturing, given the People's Republic of China's increasingly hostile and destabilizing activities with our adversaries, India may very well represent a much more promising long-term partner to our mutual benefit. The video for today has come to an end. We are grateful that you took the time to view this enlightening video. Remember to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the most groundbreaking content. If you enjoyed watching this video, showing it to your friends, and giving it a like. Bye and have a nice day.